Hello everyone, this is Big Fizz with MTG. I'm going to be doing a deck tech on one of my EDH decks, Progenitus. Um, Most people see Progenitus and they're like, okay, that card's kind of broken. But let me tell you, it's not what it seems. I run a artifact-based combo deck. Uh, I just thought Progenitus would be a fun general to use. Um, this deck has a lot of ramping, a lot of synergies. It's basically almost all artifacts. Progenitus is just there to say, hey, look at all the colors I can use, yay! So with that being said, let's start it off. The first card, I'm not gonna do card by card, but I'm gonna show you some of the cards that I do use. Um, this deck was actually built because one of my friends said that Mere Mad Phantasm was a horrible card and it would never be used. Uh, so I looked at the card, thought about some things I could do, and ended up using it as part of the combo for this deck. For those of you that don't know, what basically Mere Mad Phantasm does is after he's in play, you can pay one colorless and a blue, and you shuffle them into your library, and then you reveal cards from your library until you reveal Mere Mad Phantasm. All the cards that are revealed that weren't Mere Mad go to the graveyard. So I thought, how could we abuse this? How could we use this? So one of the first cards I thought of was Past in Flames. Let you cast something out of your graveyard, pretty much not something, but any instant or sorcery spell out of your graveyard for that turn. So I thought, what could we get with that? Well, Scrap Mastery and Open the Vaults are the two big combo cards, or two of the big synergies for the combos. Basically, what Scrap Mastery does is you stack all your artifacts, but you bring everything back from the graveyard. Excuse me. All artifacts back from the graveyard. Open the Vaults says return all artifacts and enchantments. Now, granted, this combo does cost a lot of mana. You have to have 5 for the flashback on Past in Flames, and then 6 for Open the Vaults, and 5 for Scrap Mastery. So you're looking at a minimum of 11 mana. But with this deck, it's not too hard to do. Let me show you why. This deck has a lot of ramping, doubling Q. Considering how it's all artifacts, Cloud Key lets you get what you need. Dreamstone Hedron. Talisman. This is also part of another combo, which I'll show you later. Lotus. Chromatic for all your fixing for Mr. Progy here. And Soul Ring. That starts your mana accelerant package. All of them work really well in getting you what you need to pop off the combo. And sometimes you just gotta support that with the support cards. Vendoken Ari is your basically blue ley line in artifact form. Really good, 4 mana, same cost as a ley line. Granted, it doesn't have that enter the battlefield at the beginning of the game, you get to catch everything with flash, but still good. Unwinding Clock. This is one of the power players. This lets you do ridiculous things throughout this deck. Mana, gain a bunch of mana, draw a bunch of cards, do a bunch of stuff. It's one of the power cards, along with Sculpting Steel, which lets you copy any artifact. And considering how this is an artifact deck, it's pretty money. Same thing with the Metamorph, same thing. And then here, this little uncommon from M15, Clock of Omens, is one of the power players. Basically what it does is you tap 2 artifacts, and you get to untap another artifact. Which sounds kind of lame, but when you think about all the accelerant that we just had, like, you know, Soul Ring, Chromatic Lantern, you know, Guild Lotus, you know, you can tap the useless artifacts like Unwinding Clock, you know, it's just going to sit there, not do anything. So you tap that with the Clock of Omens. Those are your 2 tapped, and then you untap Guild Lotus. There's 3 mana. It's really good. Lets you ramp out, draw cards, do dumb stuff. It also lets you use one of my favorite cards, Trading Post. This is a really synergistic card in this deck. It lets you, you know, sacrifice artifacts to draw cards, or with all the untapping and untapping, you can untap it, tap it multiple times. You can make a bunch of goats to get artifacts back from the graveyard. If someone destroys something you need, lets you sack artifacts to get what you need. And it's just a general all-around good card. Also, the gaining life one is part of the combo as well. So, next card, Voltaic Key, is basically excuse me, is basically your Clock of Omens on a stick. Pay 1, tap it, untap a artifact. And then here is another big power player. Amulet of Vigor. 1 mana, any color. It lets you have things that are tapped, untap. Now you're thinking, okay, that's cool. I mean, what's the point of it? You will see why when it comes to the mana base and a couple more of the artifacts. Also, once again, Clock of Omens. And then Prototype Portal. Basically what Prototype Portal does is you exile a card, and then you pay the mana cost and tap Prototype Portal, and you put a copy of that artifact onto the field. Which sounds fun, but not overpowered. But, trust me, it is one of the more overpowered cards in the deck. The best way you can get these power cards is by the only 2 Planeswalkers I have, Tezzeret and Tezzeret, making his Tezzeret appearance. Tezzeret's +1, the blue on the Seeker. Really good. Lets you untap 2 artifacts. If you don't have Clock of Omens, still good. His -X is where he is money, though. You can basically turn Tezzeret into any of these other artifacts I just listed. -1 him for Soul Ring or Amulet of Vigor. You can go hard and pay 4, sack him, get your Clock of Omens. And then the other Tezzeret is really good. Basically let you go, hey, top 5 cards, give me an artifact. His -1's alright. His -4 is pretty good too, but he usually doesn't live long enough to see the light of day. Another couple of ways I use to get artifacts is Fabricate. 3 mana, find an artifact, put it in the hand. Good old mirrored in card. Inception, what? Ring of 3 Wishes, an artifact to get artifacts. Really good. Enters the battlefield. He gets 3 counters, pay 5, tap it. Look for a card, put it to your hand. And then Increasing Ambition. Basically, the 2-in-1 tutor. Flashback is really good, lets you grab 2 cards instead of 1. Now, if you don't have if you haven't noticed, I don't run a lot of creatures in here, but the creatures I do are very synergistic. Trinket Mage, really good. Lets you either grab artifact lands, Amulet of Vigor, Soul Ring, Mink Stone. Whole bunch of good stuff. Sun Titan lets you return those lower cost artifacts from the graveyard into play. Plus, you know, shout out Sun Titan Matt if you haven't noticed. Really fun. Treasure Mage is your get the big artifacts that you need. I'll be showing you some of those shortly. Sanctum Gargoyle, return to play. You know, not to play, but to hand. Return the artifact to hand. And then Shroom is another power player. Lets you straight from graveyard into play. Now, you don't have these creatures out for a long time, so every now and then you may need to grab something back. So, Unburial Rites, really good card. Returns straight to the battlefield. Flashback, so 2-in-1 card again, good value. But you know, you're going to have to draw a lot of these cards. So you need some good draw spells. And nothing says, don't hurt me, I'm helping, like Howling Mine. I mean, come on. Who's going to destroy Howling Mine? It's an artifact that's going to sit out there for pretty much the entire game. You're helping everyone else out, helping yourself out. More in your favor. Ichor Wellspring. Enters the battlefield, draw a card. It dies, draw a card. Really synergistic with the trading post. You can have a nice little 5-mana combo there. Play it, sack it, and play it again after you return it. Actually, it's what? 2 to play it, 1 to sack it, 1 to make a dude, 2 to play it again, so 6 mana. 6 mana, draw 3 cards. Pretty much what it says. While you're doing that, though, you can use a Serum Tank. Basically, artifact comes into play, put a counter on it, pay 3, tap it, draw a card. This thing gets ridiculous really fast because not only does it proc off your things, but it procs off of everyone else. So you can put a whole bunch of counters on there really fast. Mind's Eye. Basically, whenever an opponent draws a card, pay 1, draw a card as well. Really good with the good old Howling Mine. Pay 2 mana, draw 2 cards at everyone's draw step, upkeep. It doesn't get a lot of hate generally because it's a 5 mana artifact that just kind of sits there, does nothing. But, as you know, Clock of Omens turns it into a threat. Then there's, sorry for the Japanese, but this is a Staff of an Inn. Basically is upkeep, draw a card, tap it, deal 1 damage to target creature or player. This is also part of a combo that you can activate with Open the Vaults or Scrap Mastery. I'll be showing you the combos here shortly. And then you need this Clock of Omens. 8 mana, draw 4 cards. Woohoo! But 8 mana, so expensive. What are you gonna... No. Trust me. Your mana will be fine. You'll be A-okay. But, you know, when you play this deck, you can't play just to be, oh, I'm hardcore, you know, I'm going to win turn 2, turn 3. This deck is a little bit more about having fun. Or not having fun, depending on how you look at it. Maelstrom Nexus is another reason I chose 5 colors. Cascade, first spell. So, cast that biggest spell you got. Cast something else. 2 for 1. Pretty awesome. And nothing says, hey, don't attack me like Soul Conduit. Pay 6, and 2 players get to exchange life totals. Nothing's better than going down to 2 life than swapping for the guy with the life gain deck who has 80 life, 90 life, then saying go. Door to Nothingness. This card was actually used back in the day. There's actually it was a Turbo Fog door deck. It was a really weird deck, but I saw this and I said this has to be in there. You got to pay basically Progi colors, so 2 of each. Tap it and sack it. Target player loses the game. Pretty simple. Own Machine is also a really good card for people that like to just sit there and just draw and draw and draw and draw, and they're out drawing you, you're not doing anything. So it says no. It just says slow down. Let's have some fun. And considering how almost all of your permanents are artifacts, sorry. Considering how almost all your deck is permanents, you basically just get to put things in for free with the Own Machine. So 6 mana puts something in pretty good. And then this fun one, Possibility Storm. Oh, so much fun to cast a Soul Ring into something ridiculous like a Guild Lotus. It can turn out bad, but for the most part, it's just really fun. But I think it's time we get down to the nitty-gritty. Time for the combo pieces. Let me move all this stuff out the way. Ugin's Nexus isn't really a combo piece, but it works really well with Time Seeds. Ugin's Nexus basically says, hey, you can't take extra turns. But hey, if you sacrifice Ugin's Nexus, you get to exile and take an extra turn. That, along with Time Sieve, it's 2 turns. So 4 of the artifacts, sack it, take 2 turns in a row. Really good. But the combo is with Thopter Assembly. Thopter Assembly is a really weird card, but it's just broken if you can live to get it off. Rather have Thopter Assembly live. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you don't control any other Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, you get to put 5 Thopter tokens into play and return Thopter Assembly to your hand. Time Siege says sacrifice 5 artifacts. And wouldn't you know it, Thopters are indeed artifacts. So you just basically play it, you get through, you get 5 Thopters, sack them, take an extra turn, play Thopter Assembly, beginning your turn, return it 5, there's the combo. Infinite turns. No one can stop it, you just say I win. Another fun one, the good old Exquisite Blood Sanguine Bond combo. Oh, whenever I gain life, you lose life. Whenever you lose life, I gain life. This can be turned on with a whole bunch of things. Staff of Nin, Pristine Talisman, Trading Post. Really hard to stop. Only way you can really stop is with a split second spell like Crow's Grip. And then finally, the Dick Bag combo. Mycosynth Lattice turns everything into artifacts. Really fun. Darksteel Forge. Your artifacts can't be destroyed. And I think you know where you're going. Nevinrel's Disc. Destroy all artifacts, enchantments, and creatures. Now, considering how it turns everything into artifact, including lands, yeah, it's a total reset. And if you have your Darksteel Forge out, you just win. People scoop at that point. But you know, you got to kind of protect yourself from all this hate. Torpor Orb turns off a lot of ETB effects, slows the game really, really, really down. You won't see a lot of people hating it that much, but it really does slow the game down. Another one is Meek Stone. Something else you can search up with Trinket Mage. Oh, you swing in? Ow. Okay, you can't swing again. Angel's Grace. This is one of the best cards, I think, in this deck. 1 cost. Split second, which is really important. It says basically you can't lose, can't go below 1 life. That lets you finish off your combos if people are trying to kill you. Spine of Ishsaw, something trying to get rid of something. Same thing with Clock of Omens. Or not Clock of Omens, Lux Cannon. Witchbane Orb, hexproof, another Clock of Omens target. And nothing says I hate you like Legacy Weapon. This was another reason I chose Progenitus. Basically, you pay 5 mana, one of each color, and you basically exile a card from the game. Also, it was really good against mill decks because, well, you shuffle it in if it ever goes to your graveyard. So, you also gotta have sweepers. Kurtar's Wrath. It's an old one, but if you have Threshold, which is 7 cards library in the graveyard, you get 2 little 1/1 flyers. It's not too bad. Phyrexian Rebirth, sweeper again, but you get an artifact creature. Note, artifact. That is equal to the amount of creatures that died this turn. And then you got Merciless Eviction, which is another dickbag card, because you can also drop the Mycosynth Lattice and just say, let's start over. And just exile the entire board from the game. And then finally, Protective Sphere. Pay 1 life, and then you prevent all damage from a source of that color. So they're swinging in with a big, 20/20 Malignus at you. You can pay 1 red, pay 1 life, and say, ow, I took 1 damage. Big deal. Let's get to the mana base now. This is another reason I wanted to run Progenitus. This card right here, Maze's End. Requires a really ridiculous win con, but pay 3 mana. Basically, look for a gate. It's kind of a fixer. With Amulet of Vigor, it actually turns all of these gates into dual lands, which is really nice. Also, the little thing at the bottom down here, if you control 10 or more gates with different names, you win the game. And considering how this is a 5 color, you get to run all the gates. And then there's Kessig Wolf Run. This card is dumb. With the amount of mana you can generate, I've actually swung at someone for lethal with a 0/1 goat token because I didn't block and I had a Wolf Run. Enough said. Other than that, you will need fixing and a lot of ramps. So Temple of False Gods, 2 mana, Lesbian Stage, copy. Nimbus Maze lets you copy, or not copy, but fixes. Who cares what your opponent's playing? Exotic Orchard gives you 1 of that. Same with Reflecting Pool. Mana Confluence is any color. Evolving and Terramorphic let you search for basics. Bloodstain lets you search for some basics and the duels. Or sorry, Shocklands. Woodfoot Hills. Crimson Verge also lets you search for Shocklands or basics. Gotta have your Shocklands, Stomping, Hollowed, Sacred. Gotta have some artifacts too in your artifact deck, so I only use those 3 because I find that I don't need black that much. I only won 1 forest and then 2 of every other basic. The reason why is because the shocks. And the shocks, the 1 Shockland Stomping Ground, it basically is all you need for green. I really don't even think there's anything in here that uses green with the exception of the 5 color spells. So, anyways, that's my Progi deck. This is one of the funnest ones. The one that everyone wants to play in the playgroups. You just sit there, dirtle, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm Progi. Sup? Anyways, thanks for watching. Big Fizz MTG. Remember, stay strong. Game on.